Garden of the Dead in the mountains of Green, Maine. There is a place called the Garden of the Dead. Why is it called that, I hear you asking yourself? The truth is no one really knows, and all who go there have never returned. And the one who did was forever changed and committed to the local mental hospital where they lived out the last of their days. The last group of people to go there was a group of teens looking to find out the truth of the Garden of the Dead. Did they find what they were looking for? You may be asking. Well, that is where our tale starts, my friend. Sarah, Mike, Bill, and Stacy took the dare to find out why the Garden of the Dead got its name. Sit back and get ready for a scary tale. It was an average day at Green High School when Bill asked Mike, Stacy, and Sarah if they felt brave enough to go check out the Garden of the Dead. Hesitating, Sarah said she'd only go with Stacy, and Mike went. Stacy, understandably shaken and unsure about things, dropped her head in defeat. As Mike said he'd be willing to go. That settles it. Bill said we will head out after school after that. Last bell of the day. The last hours of the school day creaked by, tolling their facts without a silent word being spoken. The final school bell rang, signaling the end of yet another boring day of school. Bill was the first to leave the school and wait by his old rusty second-hand station wagon his dad had bought him when he got his license last summer. Mike and Stacy were the next ones to leave the school, followed by Sarah in the back seat. She had to walk the farthest because she came from gym class. Sarah seemed like she was the only unsure if they should even be taking the challenge. As she walked up to Bill's old station wagon, she asked, "Do we really need to take this dare?" "Of course we do," Mike and Stacy said in sync. "Besides, you already said if we went, you'd go." "Yeah, but..." "No buts here, girlie. You said you'd come with us. You can't chicken out now." "Is everyone ready?" Bill asked, knowing Sarah wasn't sure if she wanted to go. But Sarah knew she had no way out of this, so she got into the station wagon. And the four of them were off to the mountains to find the Garden of the Dead. The group had been driving for what felt like hours when Mike asked, "How much longer till we get there, man?" "Like I have to piss like a racehorse. Can't we pull off to the side of the road or something? We are about 5 miles away, and it's not safe to linger near these woods for too long." Yeah, whatever. Can I get out and piss or what?" "Fine, Bill's side, but hurry up. You only have 10 minutes before the woods notice you're there." Mike shrugged Bill's words off as he was trying to scare him. Bill pulled the station wagon over, and Mike got out and went behind a tree. Not far from the station wagon, and was doing this thing, when a tree branch cracked and snapped in the distance. "Hello," Mike called out, thinking it was Bill trying to scare him, when he saw a tall shadow of a figure duck behind a tree in the distance about 5 feet from him. Mike quickly finished his piss and hastily made his way back to the station wagon, looking over his shoulder. He could see the figure was following him. He ran and jumped back into the station wagon, looking back, expecting to see the figure. But all he saw was a puff of trailing fog or smoke. "What's got you so shaken?" Bill asked, looking at the edge of the woods. "What? You didn't see it?" Mike yelled. "It followed me to the edge of the woods where that smoke or fog was." "Smoke? Fog? What are you talking about?" The group asked, not sure what Mike was talking about. "You know that shadow-looking thing that was behind me?" "We didn't see anything behind you," Stacy spoke up. "We only saw you running out of the woods, like you were going to die or something." "No matter," Bill said, "we need to keep going. We don't want to be caught on this road after nightfall." The four friends finally reached the Garden of the Dead. It was a vast-looking field of stone arcs, and in the distance was what looked like a house. "Who would live way out here in the place?" Stacy said, scrunching her nose up at the house. No one knows. No one knows why or who built that house up here. Yet alone who or what it was built for. Bill pulled up in front of the house in the middle of the garden. The group didn't notice, but odd shapes had started moving around the stone arcs. Bill was the first to get out of the station wagon and look around. In the distance. They heard something. A moaning sound rose from somewhere in the distance when the cawing of a black raven made the group jump. The raven cawed a few more times before disappearing into the distance. The group turned back to the house that looked run down. Its shutters to the windows barely hanging on. Moss and other vegetation had started to reclaim the house. In an upstairs window to maybe an attic. Sarah saw something watching them from the shadow of the window. Something's up there. She pointed to the attic window, but nothing was there a second later when Bill and Mike looked to see what she was pointing at. "What are you pointing at?" Staci said, trying to see what Sarah was pointing at. "I saw a person, or I thought I saw a person or something watching us from the window." "It could have been Gladys," Bill said. Gladys was once a caretaker for this place. Or so the legend goes, before she hung herself in the attic after finding her husband with another woman. "So are you saying someone killed themselves here?" Sarah asked, not sure how to feel or react to this information. "Well, yeah, or that's what the legend says happened." The four friends kept walking past the stone arches as they made their way to the house. When again they heard a moaning groan from somewhere in the distance, as if it was slowly getting closer. The group didn't pay much attention to the stone arcs, not noticing what they really were. The front door to the house had rotted off some years ago, letting the group just walk through its threshold. Some of the windows were broken, and there was graffiti all throughout parts of the house. There was a strange stench in the air out. The house, like a sweet, musky stench of slow decay and meadows sweet from the vegetation growing into the house. Mike and Staci decided to check the upstairs, while Bill and Sarah stayed to check out the first floor and the basement. When a strange wind seemed to blow throughout the house, making it make a creaking, moaning, gurgling sound as the house responded to the wind's movement. When again a strange moan came from over the ridge, into the distance, sounding somehow closer this time than before, as a thick fog began to creep in around the house. Mike and Staci didn't find much in the upstairs rooms. Just a bathroom with a shower, some discarded clothes someone must have left behind or something, and beer bottles littered one corner of the room. Meanwhile, downstairs, Bill and Sarah found discarded shoes and wallets just littering a corner of the basement. Something shifted in a crawl space, making Sarah jump out of her skin. "It's just the wind," Bill exclaimed, as the sound shifted and fell silent again. "See," he said, "I told it was just the wind. Sometimes it makes the house make strange sounds like that." "So are you saying you've been here before?" Sarah asked, her voice shaking a little bit, not sure what to think about what Bill had just said. "Well, no, not exactly. My brother came here and had me sit in the car. He swears he saw something in this house because he came running out the front door faster than I'd ever seen him run for anything in my whole life. As we sped away, I thought I saw a woman in the same window you were staring at when we first got here." As they went farther into the basement, they could see shadowy shapes whispering through the shadows of a dark corner of the room. Sarah gasped as Bill covered her mouth and whispered SHH in her ear, telling her not to make a sound as she nodded her head in acknowledgement to what Bill was saying. They could hear the shadowy things making a growling sound, when again the moaning they heard earlier rang out. This time sounded as if it was outside the front door. The shadowy figures seemed to just vanish as a voice rang out. "Who's in my house?" The voice was deep and ominous as it echoed through the whole house. The floorboards above Bill and Sarah began to creak and moan as heavy footsteps ranged out as the unknown figure walked through the house. Bill knew they had to be it. silent as they could, because the stairs they took down were the only way back out. The moaning grew louder. Who's in my house? The voice seemed to yell this time, sounding as if it was going to find Bill and Sarah. But the steps were going in the opposite direction, headed up the stairs towards Mike and Staci, who were in the attic at this point. When they heard the thundering, voice rang out around them as it drew closer. Who's in my house? The voice rang out again, this time at the bottom of the attic stairs. With nowhere to go, Staci began to feel weak, as Mike arched his shoulders as if he could fight whatever came up those stairs. As the unknown figure started up the stairs, each step making a sickening creaking roar under the figure's heavy boots. Bill and Sarah could have made a run for it, but Bill gave Sarah the keys for the station wagon and told her to wait for Mike and Staci, saying the three of them should leave without him, so he could buy them time to get away. So Sarah ran to the station wagon and locked the doors as figures began to move around the station wagon and head towards the house. Sarah could hear Bill yelling for the figure to follow after him instead. Then Bill, with the figure hot on his heels, came bolting from the house and through the arc of stones, each footstep making the wagon shake and stir. Mike and Staci were headed down the stairs when they heard someone taking a shower. Who would take a shower, he was saying,